Hi, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today we're looking at a really groovy blues shuffle riff in the style of brass players. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please click like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel for free harmonica lessons every single week. Also, I am crowdfunding the debut Liam Ward Band album, so please follow the link in the description. I've just added some new perks. So right now, you can get custom tabs for any song that you'd like. I'm also offering Pine Grove leather harmonica cases. I'm offering a goodie bag including a signed CD and all sorts of stuff for £40 off their usual price. You can also get a Rolly Platt harp wah to get that really cool wah sound with your harmonica. And finally, I'm doing house gigs, so I can come and play in your house, or if you want to book a local venue and have me come and play in your hometown, then you can do that as well. So do follow the link in the video description. Okay, so we're looking at the lick I played in the intro of the video, and I'm using a B-flat harmonica, okay? But this could be played on any key harmonica, so let's say you've only got a C harmonica. You can play it on that as well, but I will be using a B-flat harmonica in this lesson, and that's because I was playing along to the rhythm track for my upcoming tune, What's the Big Deal, which is going to be on my debut album. So I said a couple of things in the intro. I said that it's kind of like a brass riff. Now what I mean by that is in a lot of up-tempo kind of almost jump blues, it's very common to have saxophone, trumpet, trombone sometimes doing a repeated lick as I played in the intro. So you can almost imagine them da 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 do da 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 da, you know, kind of just they might be playing that in harmony together or just completely in unison. Now what you would do in that case is you'd have one chord playing over and over and over. So instead of the 12-bar blues chord changes, even if the song later goes on and does that, it's common at the start of a song, maybe at the end as well, and sometimes somewhere in the middle, to kind of just hold one chord, hold a single chord over and over and over. In this case, because I'm on a B-flat harmonica, second position blues, we'd be in the key of F. So it would be an F7 chord probably. But that's by the by. You might notice if you listen back to the beginning of the song, you're not hearing chord changes beneath what I'm playing. You just hear the same chord again and again. And I also mentioned it's a blues shuffle. Now that's just to do with the kind of the rhythm of what we're playing. Chunka, 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 ding, chunka, chunka, chunka. We're kind of swinging the beat. Chunka, 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 chunka. So that's what I meant by it being a shuffle, kind of broadly. So that's the general idea of the background to what we're playing. Now let's get onto the tab and talk about some of the specific stuff that we're going to look at. So you'll see the tab on your screen and you'll probably immediately notice there's two different versions of the tab. So the top version is just the bare bones, the absolute basics, and you'll see that really it's only 4 notes, or even just 3 different notes because one of those notes is repeated. So no bends, nothing complicated at all. The bottom one looks a whole lot busier. Now that's the true version of what I'm playing. So we're going to look at the basic version first, and then we're going to go on and look at how we can fatten that out. We're going to use some tongue slaps, a kind of really useful technique for filling out your playing. So the bare bones of what we're doing is simply just... that's it. I mean, to the right rhythm... So it's just 4 draw, 5 blow, 5 draw, and 5 blow. So it's just that kind of ascending and then descending line. And again, you could kind of imagine this with a brass section, filling that out, maybe doing a third and a fifth above that in harmony to kind of really make this a bigger sound, which I might be doing on the album. We might get a brass section in depending on how we get on. So the very basics of it are just those notes. Now you'll be thinking, well, what I played at the beginning was very different. Okay, so So the lower bit of the tab really kind of brings out some of those ideas. So we're going to look at that tab, but I also want to talk about a few extra things which go beyond just the tab you see on the screen, and we're going to discuss how to put those into your playing as well. So the first thing to say is that really to get that lower part of the tab, you need to be tongue blocking, because we're going to do some tongue slapping to get those extra sounds. So if you're a lip purser, a pucker player, then the top tab will work absolutely fine. You might want to double up the notes. Maybe not the last 5 below, you could leave that as a single note, but you want to go da 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 da. If anyone's looked at my walking bass kind of classic blues shuffle lesson, the same applies to that if you're not tongue blocking, you can just go. So I talked about that in the lesson, whereas the full tongue slap kind of thing requires you to be tongue blocking. So, assuming that you've checked out my lessons on tongue blocking and had a bit of practice on that sort of thing, let's get on with the second half of this tab that you see on the screen and get somewhere towards playing like that. Okay, so what are we doing here? Now you'll notice in the middle of each line, you've got the single notes that we talked about in the higher tab, the kind of first tab. So the 4 draw, 5 blow, 5 draw, and 5 blow. They're still there. Now what we're doing is, as well as just playing those notes, we're playing a kind of chord before the note and after the note. Or a partial chord, if you like, multiple notes. So on the first one, I'm playing over 1, 2, 3, and 4, because my normal tongue block would be just covering 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when I'm doing that first line, I'm going chord, single note, chord. So I breathe in when I have 4 notes playing like that. I keep breathing in as I put the tongue on, and then I keep breathing in still as I take the tongue off. So you hear chord, single note, chord. Like that. So that would be the first line of tab. So that 1, 2, 3, 4 draw into the 4 draw on its own, and then back to the 1, 2, 3, 4 draw. So you hear that slapping kind of sound. I cover all these techniques and more tongue blocking techniques in my tongue blocking e-course, which I'll put a link to in the video as well in case you want to download that. Now that same technique applies when you go to the 5 blow and the 5 draw and then the 5 blow again. Notice that on hole 5, you're not playing 1, 2, 3, 4 draw, you're playing 2, 3, 4, 5. So that shape shifts. 2, 3, 4, 5. If we were going to 6, it'd go up again. We keep going up the whole of the harmonica, but we're just using 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I'm on these, again, it's cover those 3 and then take it off again. So that's 5 blow. That's 5 draw. So if you put those together, each of those notes goes from just being a single note, which is fine, to that big, big sound, which really fills it out and gives it some kind of real substance. And often I think I'm actually missing the last, so that 5 blow, the last note there, I don't think I go back to the chord every time. So I might just go. So I just slap that note on, slap the tongue on to get the 5 blow at the end, and I don't come off again for the chord. Just a little variation, and that isn't an exact science. You could do it sometimes and not others. You can vary that depending on when you fancy, so you might fill it out. So only a slight variation. I don't know if you would have heard it then at that speed, but it's that difference between and then where it's just a slap. So the only other thing that I'm doing commonly with this is sometimes I'm doing a tongue flutter. So that's often on the 5 draw and on and on and off with the tongue kind of fluttering on and off. Again, I cover that in my tongue blocking e-course, a bit more information on that. They're the main things that I would be doing with this, but it's really just about filling out those few notes. And although there isn't that much in terms of substance, in terms of notes in this lesson, I want you to hopefully take away this idea that sometimes all it takes is 4 different notes like that, but with the techniques that you can add in, you can really fill out the sound. So perhaps when you heard it in the intro, you thought there was quite a lot going on. And in a sense, in terms of the techniques, there is. But remember that the notes themselves, they don't have to be complex. You can play something really full, really rich and fulfilling musically without needing to play loads and loads and loads of notes and really complicated stuff. Not to knock that, because the complicated stuff is really cool as well. But in this, that's a really good example of what you can do with just a few notes. And remember what I said about this idea of it being a 1-chord thing. So if you're playing over a 12-bar blues, you probably wouldn't play this whole thing over the whole 12-bar progression. It fits best over the first chord, the 1 chord. So you'd probably want to think about changing it. You might look at transposing it up, so work out where the equivalent notes would be on the different chords. Or you might just play this, as I said, over 1 chord at the start of a song. So that's what I'm doing in the song that I played over at the start of this lesson. So that's a tune called What's the Big Deal? It's going to be on my debut album, and it starts with that 1 chord vamp just before the vocals come in, and then it goes straight into a 12-bar, and the rest of the song is just 12-bar progressions. I don't think we're going to I'm trying to remember, we don't go to a 1 chord thing at the end again. It just finishes as a 12-bar progression. So that's a common thing, especially with kind of almost jump jive style kind of up-tempo blues stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at this lesson with me today. I hope this gives you some food for thought and some stuff to think about in terms of your tongue blocking technique, using a few notes to get a bigger sound than just playing single notes. If you have enjoyed this lesson, please click like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my lesson for free harmonica lessons every single week. Also, at the moment, please check out my crowdfunding campaign to support my debut album. I'm going to be back again soon with another lesson. I take requests, so please put your comments beneath the video. You can email contact@LearnTheHarmonica.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Just look for LearnTheHarmonica.com. I like to take your questions, your queries on anything harmonica, and I try and answer as many of them as possible. I'm going to be back with another lesson very, very soon. Until then, enjoy your practice. Take care. Cheers.